Alright, welcome everybody. This is going to be a full level walkthrough on the easy difficulty of Requiem. So this is going to be going over all strats that can be used in the IL, including what's used in the world record, as well as alternative slower strats that are easier. And then there's also going to be some full game alternatives and some older methods they can use depending on what your time goal is. And I'll kind of, every single time we come up with a trick, I'll kind of go over what the alternatives are and which one I would suggest for you. Now, I won't be covering the driving or beginning movement parts of this level, as it's very self-explanatory. So I'm going to include that in some example clips of what the driving lines should look like, as well as what the slide and movement lines should look like. So I'm going to be starting from Ghost Grab here and going up till the extended bool at the end, and the CE bool variant. Alright, so we're going to start here. And what we want to do is drive our hog, and we want to get out as we're passing like this barricade here. Now, in order to get the wings off in 3 melees instead of 4, you want to punch the half closest to the body of the ghost. You want to do 2 melees on one side and 1 melee on the other, and that will get the wings off enough so you can fit through the cave perfectly fine. Now, there is a method that you don't take off the wings that saves 2 seconds, but don't worry about it. So we're going to switch to mouse and keyboard here. Just take as tight of lines as possible. Okay, and now this is going to be the hardest part of this portion of the trick. So we're going to be going up this ledge here, but as you can tell, we can't just run into it. So what we want to do is there's like this little rock right here that's sloped, and there's this side right here that's sloped. We want to angle our wings so it comes up under this rock right here. Go right about here, just like that. We can just turn and go up the rock. So let's do that full speed this time. See if we can do it from this checkpoint. Full speed will just be going into the same thing, but turning at the last second with your full speed, and then you can press control, so lifting your ghost if you'd like, or A if you're on controller. But this can be done without lifting the ghost. It is just easier. And now that we're gonna go up here, you can do it pretty cleanly. I'm gonna turn on invulnerability here just so I don't die. But we want to do the same thing for the next little ledge right here. Once again, you can just go through this by lifting your ghost, but it's going to be much easier for you to bring in that left wing first. Just like that. Now here's going to be where the full wings and half wings, as I'd call it, would be different, because full wings obviously can't fit through here, half wings can. Okay. Now whenever we come through a corner, we don't want to be boosting. Instead, on mouse and keyboard, we can press our forward key and a directional key, and it will give us multiplied speed. So as we come around these corners, such as this one, we'd be holding forward, which is W, and right, which is D, to take this corner faster. And then the straightaways will, of course, want to boost. This one, you could just go straight forward, lifting your ghost. Stay away from the walls here.
If we're going to hijack a ship from these Covenant, we're going to have to find where they're landing first.
Now we're going to be going for ghost strats here. So the old method, which is the grenade throw, I don't really suggest using it at all anymore. As the ghost strats, you'll almost always save time or match the previous method. Okay, there's 2 ways to drop down here. Let's turn off that invulnerability. So the fastest way, of course, is to just lift your ghost and drop down right here.
We could always ask nicely.
Just like that. Or alternatively, you can just slide down here. They are about the same speed. Just whatever one you like more. They both work just fine.
We could always ask nicely.
as we come up here, we're going to be approaching the trigger spawning the enemies. So you can go as fast as you would like up to this point. After here, I'll show you, as soon as we pass about this line right here, we will be spawning enemies up top, and then we do need to get there in a timely fashion. So, just right here. Now the enemies are spawned in. So we want to recharge our boost as much as possible as we pass through here. And we want to get up here as fast as possible. Now before we splatter the elite, we want to make sure the elite is fully stopped. Because if the elite is still moving forward, the energy sword can fall off the map. So like that, now we'll boost forward and try to splatter as much as possible and use your grenades on the rest.
That elite drop.
And just like that, we get the camo. So you must collect the camo to continue the mission.
His camo module.
After we
Let's
get the
have a
camo, we're going to go pick up that sword.
I'll
So
run a
this
soft
is
patch
where,
to Never know
the
what
reason
might come in.
why we want to kill that elite when it stops, because the sword will most likely be up top. Okay, here is a good time to turn on coordinates if you are on mouse and key or controller. Sorry. You just want to make sure you're back in the ghost before the loading done happens, so be quick with it. The reason I'm turning on coordinates is for the ending bool, but the coordinates aren't required. It's a little bit helpful when you're learning the trick. Okay, this is going to be inside. So here we're going to want to follow a pretty specific route. We want to go to the left side, left side doesn't matter, just left side's a little bit easier. So we're going to go over here, boosting the whole time. Now as we come off this edge, we're going to want to lift our ghost.
Sentinels.
And as we come up the lip there, we also want to stop our boost.
I wondered when
And we
they'd
want to
show up.
slow down and kind of turn into
There.
this ramp.
Chief, a console in the back.
Okay, so this is going to be the ghost. I don't know what you call it, but you maintain the ghost through the cutscene. So there's two ways to do this. I'm going to start with the safe method. So if you're unaware, the direction you're looking is the direction you get out of the ghost. I'm going to look to the left and get out. Now there's going to be this drive ghost button, and if I look higher, there's going to be the access cartographer. So I'm going to hold E to do that and immediately look down to get in the ghost. Such as that. That's going to be the easiest way. Now we're going to do the little bit more difficult way, but this way saves about 1 to 2 seconds. As soon as you get out, you want to, as you're getting out of the animation, you want to hold your action button, so E, and then immediately press it again to get into the ghost. So you can't actually immediately get back in the ghost when you get out, and that allows you to press the button. Such as that right there. That's going to be our fast button.
It's a localized site cartography.
Okay, as soon as we come out of this, so you can move your ghost right here. I suggest angling it in this direction.
Requiem.
But as soon as we come out of the cutscene, we
Let's
do
see
need
if
to
you can
go
tell
as
us
fast as
what the
possible
Covenant
to
are
get to
so
the
interested
button before it pops up. So snag a checkpoint here. Now this is going to be the fastest route of
I
getting
don't
to the
know.
button.
It locked up. I'm detecting power
like this.
fluctuations in several locations. I'll put
And
them
then
up
you
for
want to get out
Hopefully we can find some way
little
to get
bit
this cartographer
beforehand.
back online.
because you're in a warp state. It will actually sometimes warp you a couple units to the left or a couple units to the right, and if it pushes you to the right, you can actually fall off the map. So getting out while you're next to the doorway instead of in front of the bridge can actually that will cause you to not lose runs. Alternatively, there's this route up here.
What happened?
This
don't
is
know.
going to be
It locked
a significantly easier route if you're
I'm detecting power
starting off
fluctuations.
with, because you can't really get stuck on anything.
I'll put them up for you.
But it's not going to be the
Hopefully we
fastest
can
route.
find some way to get this cartographer back online.
So here is going to be gap jump. I should probably go over this. But you want to sprint, and as soon as you start to fall off the ledge, you jump. You can crouch on the other side. Very easy trick. Okay, the route here is we want to aim for this right corner. There's two ways we can take this. Once again, many ways to do this level. You can land right here, which is going to be the fastest way, and come up top. Or we can come up top over here. The legendary method. Whatever you find easier. I find this method to be more difficult, personally, but they both work. Okay. Just be aware, you kind of want to boost into that elite, otherwise it can hijack you. And then here we want to angle our ghost towards where we're going to be going after this, as it will save us time. Get out on the correct side, like here. I didn't get out on the right side, but it's not too big of a deal. Another gap jump. Okay, here's going to be pretty important. Okay. Before I get in this ghost, I want to show you something. So these enemies actually won't spawn immediately until after I pass a certain point. Okay. So there's this line on the ground. I'll put a diagram up right now so you can see. But there's going to be a line on the ground. As soon as we pass it, then the enemies will start to come out. Just like that. So we want to pass this line as fast as possible. And as soon as we pass this line, we cannot hit anything. So what you can do here is, if you're a good shot, which I'm not in the run, but you can actually shoot this sniper early. And now we're going to go as fast as possible here. So we're going to go for splatters on all these enemies. Make sure they all die. Okay, after here there's going to be 4 grunts you have to kill. They both come out of 2 out of this door and 2 out of the door on the opposite side. That was interesting. So you want to keep your magnum from earlier to kill these grunts. Now, if you're going to be doing the EMP strat for the Banshee, go ahead and grab your Banshee or your plasma pistol here. I will be showing both methods, but if you're not, just go straight to the button. Alright, so this is where the strats will be differing between what you're looking for, whether or not it's full game, ILs, or world record. So here I will be showing the IL strat first. So you want to jump down and lure this Banshee with some magnum shots. Okay. Next thing the Banshee is going to do is it's going to kind of push upwards and then dive down. As soon as the Banshee starts to dive down, then sprint towards it. Like that. I didn't get it there because I got stunned. I got it there. So it's pretty consistent, but as you can tell, Banshee can do some weird things. Sometimes it can Banshee trick. So I'm going to show you the more consistent method. It is going to be about 3 seconds slower, but it is an option if you want consistency over the time save. Okay, same thing as before. We're going to jump down. Now you kind of want to lead your shots a bit to get this Banshee lured. Now, once it starts to dive down, once again, you want to EMP it. And then, that was kind of bad. It fell off the map. Let's do it again. Obviously, there's going to be some faults with both methods. But this method is a bit more consistent. But it is up to preference. So you can't actually hijack a Banshee when it's upside down. But there we go. And now lastly, if you're going to be doing the hijack method for Bool, which I don't really suggest learning for full game, but it is an option. Let's go back to actually, we can do it with this. You can do the EMP method, but all you have to do is lure the Banshee with the Magnum. As soon as it turns around, grab a plasma pistol, and then you can either plasma pistol it, which is what I did here, or you could do the sword strat again. They both work just fine. You just have to pick up that plasma pistol at some point. Okay. Now here we want to wait for pretty much full boost. 75% is pretty much the minimum. So I'm going to go over some different methods here. I'm going to start off with the IL method here. Don't really suggest it unless if you're going for that top IL time. But this is going to be the hijack, so you want to Banshee bomb yourself and stick your corner right here. Now as soon as you run inside and the door starts to close, you want to EMP the Banshee. Just like that. Now you want to hold your enter button as you're walking into that corner there, and that will actually reach far enough through the door that you can hijack the Banshee. Now there's some caveats with this. Usually with the hijack method you have to wait for the black bars to go away before you can hijack. Sometimes you can't hijack though, and this is what you should do when you're hijacking. So you need to get in bounds after this point as soon as possible, because if you're out of bounds when the load happens, it will delete the player. And what inbounds means is to either be touching the sidewalls or being underneath the map. And I'll try to get there as quick as possible. So I'm underneath the map there. But if I was still out in void space when that load happened, I would have just disappeared, run dead. Sometimes if you get in the Banshee before the black bars go away, when the black bars fade, you'll actually be kicked out of the Banshee. So you want to try to get into the Banshee after the black bars. But if you survive, then you get a couple seconds of time save there. Now we're going to be doing the concussion rifle method. So once again, you want to Banshee bomb there. You want to grab the concussion rifle, and now you want to put 3 shots into the Banshee. So your first shot should always be at the wing. You should put 2 shots into like this gray wing thing. And you can actually do 4 shots if you need to, but 3 should do the trick. And you want it to be kind of lined up on this dark line. If it's inside, it will be smushed. So this should be good right here. As soon as the black bars show up, you can get it. And you can actually melee to extend your range. So we got it there. Very easy strat to do. I suggest this one for full game. And definitely if you're learning the level for the first time. Once again, you need to get underneath the map as quick as possible. Okay. So, we're now underneath the map. There's a couple ways to do Bool. So I'm going to go over the old method first, followed by Hark's method of extended Bool, followed by my method of Conc extended Bool, or C Bool. So let's do the old method first. So there's going to be a trigger here. This needs to be hit for every method. It's by the door. Now we're going to go underneath the map. There's going to be a hole over here. We're going to go through this hole, up and around. Just fly up here. Alright, we'll go inside. Get a checkpoint. And when we're in here, we can move on to the second part. Alright, so that's the first method. It's the old method. Now we're going to be doing the extended Bool methods here. So we want to fly underneath the map. And as soon as we pass like these dark lines, you can start flying upwards. And we want to fly upwards into this ground until on our radar we see the sentinel spawn, or I believe it's 5 circles. That's when we know we hit the first trigger. The next trigger is going to be right here. Now if you're doing the hijack method, you're going to want to shoot your Banshee bomb right here for the second time, and that will get your wings off. So we're going to probably have to sit here for 1 to 2 seconds for the area to load in. And you want to kind of angle your Banshee into the wall like this. Alright, now we're going to go over CE Bool, or Conc extended Bool. First part of this trick is that you're not going to want to go straight to the deload spot. Is you actually need to have your Banshee loaded in graphically in order for it to not be deloaded. So the way we're going to do that is after we hit the load here, we're going to fly underneath the map to keep the Banshee loaded in. And then we're going to come up around here. Alright, so the way we're going to do this now is, well, I'll explain how it works real quick. So when you eject out of the Banshee is going to be in one load zone, and the player is going to be in a different load zone. This causes the Banshee to get stuck in solid space, and the player to be teleported into the closest inbound space. And then once the final loading done happens, the Banshee will become unstuck and fall to the ground, and then the player can get into the Banshee. That's kind of the technical aspect of it, but there's some caveats. As I mentioned, if the Banshee isn't visually loaded in, it will deload. And if you try to flip it out of the door too quickly, it will actually become lodged into the door while it's shifting out of solid space. Okay, now that we got the technicals out of the way, let's go over how to do the trick. Okay, so when you're getting into the position, you want to be holding S or down. You want to be holding D or right on your analog stick, and then once you're lined up, you just kind of want the analog stick of your mouse to just settle into position, aiming at this dark line here, and then as soon as you eject, you want to be holding D or to the right. And that'll put you into this position. Now as soon as the door shuts, you want to go into this little white square and let the Banshee fall. Do not touch it until it's out of position. Just like that. If you touch it beforehand, it will get stuck, and it will probably lose you about 3 seconds. So don't flip it out. Just let it fall. Now there is a chance it can fall while you're loading in the door, waiting for it to close, and that's because the Banshee is not set up correctly, where it does not freeze in solid space. So, and then here I'm going to post an image of the correct coordinates to aim for at the end, as well as the Y trajectory. This is pretty much what's left of the trick. Just go over that real quick. And right there. So this is going to be Requiem on easy, full level walkthrough. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to have save files in the description, and I will get those example clips of this up quick.